Bits and Bones, my name is Slady and welcome to my channel. Before we get into the video, I like to give an announcement. So today's is a shout out to Shannon Felton. She always has encouraging things to say to me, and I just have the hugest Twitter crush on her. She just put out her debut novel, The Prisoners of Stewartville, and I will link that in the description below if you're interested. I may do a review on it sometime soon. To follow up after that train wreck of a movie, 365 Days, I figured I would do something cute. So today we're going to be taking a quick look at Yes God Yes. Yes God Yes came out in 2019. It was directed by Karen Maine and stars Natalia Dyer and Wolfgang Novogratz? Dude, that's a wicked name. Alicia Bowe, Francesca Rail, and Timothy Simmons. Its ratings across various sites can be found here, but it was generally well received. And I'm glad to see that it hasn't blown the internet up with weird, polarizing communities of Christians and otherwise fighting about it, that I know of anyway. Because when you address religion with a serious context, even though the movie was lighthearted, you can always expect to find some of the religious group having a problem with it. And that's not a hateful criticism in and of itself. Having something you define yourself by represented in a way that doesn't express you can be jarring and uncomfortable. But this definitely is a story about the coming-of-age struggles of many young Christian girls, and I'm super glad that it hasn't been boycotted for representing underage masturbation. To loosely summarize Yes God Yes, it's a movie about a young girl named Alice who is raised in a religious community that stumbles on some online sexual content. With no context to go off, she's arguably confused, but more so, she's curious. Alice goes to a religious camp to try and sort through her feelings, only to realize the intertwined relationship of religion and sexuality is more complicated than she thought. If Yes God Yes sounds like something that would be up your alley, I'd recommend it for an easy, lighthearted kind of awkward watch. But now I'm going to get into spoilers. Now, forget what I mentioned earlier about underage masturbation being a potential point of contention because it was handled so tastefully. In a weird way, it wasn't sexualized. I know that sounds stupid, but the focus was more on Alice's exploration of emotions than the physicality of it. As much as you could see hints of pleasure in her expressions, she was more than anything very confused by the new sensations. Why and how is this happening? The real problem that I thought Christians would have with the movie is the portrayal of adults as hypocritical, but at this point I think we're all pretty aware that practicing what you preach is unreasonably restrictive and damaging. Even in that, I found the movie handled the subject extremely tactfully. As much as Alice feels a bit bitter and lied to, she doesn't lash out like you'd expect. When she's ostracized by kids around her by rumors, and preached down to by leaders that Alice knows is lying, Alice truly takes the high road in the end. She decides she doesn't need their validation because its restrictions on living a healthy life aren't good. She's okay with existing in a middle ground, and that's a really empowering message for young, impressionable teens trying to find themselves in a religious environment. The editing and acting truly exemplified what it feels like being in Alice's position. Trying to understand and internalize judgment put on her for something she's done that she doesn't even understand herself. And some things that she hasn't done, but has been stuck upon her. Dealing with hormones and new urges at a certain age can be extremely hard when you don't have a proper source of information or support network. They really captured the conflict of the age group. As for tone, it was perfectly awkward. Some of the editing I think was supposed to be funny in its dramatic, horny representations, like how Alice is super turned on by the hair on a boy's arm, but I just found it charming. Light, a little weird, and very respectful of its subject matter. This was a short review, and after all that praise, I do still recommend watching Yes God Yes, but I'm only giving it a B+. It was definitely above average in quality and subject, but it wasn't very engaging. I loved the message, I think it was very important, but at no point was I gripped. There were some plot points I was certainly curious about what Alice would do, but it became pretty clear pretty quickly that this was not a movie of real hardcore religious teen drama. Not that I want hardcore teen drama, but there was a bit of a bubble in the immunity around the characters. I knew none of the consequences would be severe, like some films on these subjects can definitely get. I think that's good, and the tone again was perfect for what it was, but there was no tension. Alice literally walks out of camp and gets a beer at a bar and has a great heartwarming conversation with a gay ex-Christian biker, and then she's returned to camp with no consequences. That, at least, should have led to some kind of higher punishment we'd yet to see, but Alice just gets to be happy with who she is, and that's enough. Just not super riveting. For smaller reviews like this, I will start trying to clump them together, but at the moment I'm not sure. I don't have enough of them of the right genres and at least 5 of them to put together, so I'll work on it and not put out so many very, very short reviews soon. If you enjoy my content, please like and subscribe to my channel. I try to release content once a week, but until I can garner more resources, it is a laborious process to make videos. If you'd like to help increase my output of content, be that YouTube or writing, you can support me on Patreon. I'll link it in the description below. I'd also like to thank my current patrons on screen. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.